So first, this is the, you know, Tuesday of Holy Weeks, and tomorrow I don't have the morning mass or evening mass, so it's the last time I see the crowd that made a commitment for many of you to come during Lent, which I think is always beautiful. Growing up in Biddeford and Lewiston being sort of just maybe a bigger version of Biddeford, that was always a big thing to see that people come every day for Lent. Some of you come every day anyway, which is a beautiful thing. But to make that commitment during Lent, and now we have finished, we're at the end of it, of journeying with Jesus up to his cross. And I think that can be an amazing thing. And of course, we have today's example now with the Last Supper, because we're going to work our way right up to Holy Thursday, where we have the big celebrations start. And this is kind of the getting us ready for that, and what are the circumstances that led to that. And whenever we read the poor Judas Iscariot, when you think that the denial of Jesus that forever throughout history now, for the last 2,000 years and probably for another 2,000 years, Judas's name, whenever I call anybody, you're just being a Judas, everybody, or Judas Iscariot, everybody knows what that means because of that one name that kind of went down pretty much for the rest of history. So no one would ever name their child Judas Iscariot, kind of like no one would ever name their child, or Hitler or anything like that, because you're like, these are terrible names that have come down and we recognize them immediately and use them. But then I think when we all reflect, right, in our own life, I think we all face the fact that maybe sometimes we have denied Christ, right? Maybe when we could have stood up, maybe we decided we didn't want to be mocked or ridiculed. It could have been in our own family, when we know that. It could have been, with brothers and sisters who maybe don't practice anymore. The challenge that is to be able to, to stand up, to deny Jesus with Peter, but then to betray him in our faith. These two kind of people that are sort of the co-stars of this event, all the way from betrayal to denial, and of course, Peter, he ends up denying, just as they said, but then at the resurrection, he's still present to be reconciled with God. Of course, we know Judas Iscariot just kills himself because he cannot rely on any of God's mercy, right? Because it was such a terrible thing. But these two things, these two experiences of betrayal of Jesus in his time of need, and then a denial of Jesus when it might cost us a little too much. Betrayal of Jesus is when you do something specifically for your own benefit. So you might kind of not deny, but you sort of cash in on something for your faith. So you deny part of your faith for your own benefit. It's like, I'll ignore that because I get something out of this. Whether it's to do something wrong or, maybe to do a little stealing or cheating or whatever, when Christ is like, that's not right. But yet you would be willing to betray that faith in order to do what you need. And then, of course, we all have the experience, of being at a gathering when, something is really offensive to the faith and wondering, I don't want to say anything because it just will cause more problems. You might as well take the easy way out and, and not live the faith. That's a challenge I think every Catholic has faced at least one time in their life when you're dealing with, if not every day, when you're dealing with the secular world, or maybe even people in our families that are secular, but not that we intentionally kind of cause fights, but that at least it becomes very clear. One last thing is, my sister, where she works, she was known as the Catholic, right? And so any time there was a joke or something, well, they used to call her the Catholic girl, and all that stuff. And then I still remember she was talking about how somebody had died, and then someone came to her and said, I know you're Catholic. What do you think about this? Or, what do you believe about this? And it was like, isn't that interesting? You know, that because she was known as it, she became maybe the butt of some jokes, but when the chips were down and they wanted to speak to a Catholic, they knew who to come to. And I said, see, that's kind of the reality. It's like, look, everybody knows you stand up for this, and that you're right, I won't tolerate these things. I'll get some mocking, I'll get maybe some spitting at spiritually or, emotionally spitting at, but then, when you want to know who God is, who do you come and knock on the door? Because I've been known for that, because that's who I am, and or that's who you are to the family. So there is no question that is hard. When we're dealing with this, this is put on Holy Week because it is hard in the life of a Christian. There's no question. It's associated with the crucifixion, that the ability to not betray and not deny, especially when you're at this seriously point of view. Challenge for all of us, keeps us on our knees, keeps us continually praying for grace, and keeps us in the confessional box so that we know kind of that's the way it is. But by God's grace, when the day comes, we'll be able to join him.